Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Nancy here from American Pet Professionals, and welcome to another episode of Digging into the Pet Industry, our live video show and our podcast. Right now we are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So wherever you're watching from, thanks so much for watching. And wherever you're listening from in a future podcast episode, thank you so much for listening. And today I'm excited to bring on APP member Matt Aldrich of Pet Engine Marketing. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, how's it going, Nancy? Super happy to be
Good. Yeah, I'm so happy you're here too. Finally, I know we've been trying to get you on the show for a while now, so I'm so happy you made it on. And here on Digging into the Pet Industry, we dig right in. And I always like to start with our guests a little bit further back than we always like to talk about our business, but I love to talk about your story. So let's step back a little bit. How did you get started in the pet industry and what drew you to it?
Well, this is a super rehearsed story. I've told it many times, so I'm glad you're asking. I actually began working, one of my very first jobs was working for a local independent sort of mom and pop pet retailer right here in my hometown, Ann Arbor, Michigan. I was in high school, so 15, 16, started working there part-time, ended up working there in summer as well as in college as well. And kind of grew up into that business quite a bit, learned a lot more about pets, about pet nutrition, about pet parents, and sort of learned about that type of customer, what people were looking for, what they were interested in, and just learn more about running that kind of business, as well as I took on some new responsibilities that went beyond just greeting customers, cashing people out, and stocking shelves. The necessary stuff, right?
So, right.
Post-college, I bounced around a couple jobs and then ended up at a marketing agency and reached back out to this pet store owner and with the intention of selling like a prepackaged marketing package. And this was 2017 and she was all for it. We were close friends, so I was very happy about that. But I found out that, again, 2017, she didn't even have a website. And I was like, whoa, this is wild. How do you not have a website in 2017? Turns out there are plenty of pet stores out there in 2017 that didn't have a website.
Probably
but I didn't know that. So I went back to my agency and I was like, hey, she needs a website. Can we do that? And they're like, yeah, we can absolutely do that. That's going to be $6,700. I'm like, whoa, that is crazy. She just asked me to pay $6,700 for a basic website. And I go back to her and she's like, whoa, that's crazy. I'm not paying $6,700 for a website. And I'm like, I know. So long story short, I built her a website. It was my first website I'd ever built. My agency didn't know about it. I tried to do it for free. She insisted on paying me $750. She got a website. We did the marketing plan. A few months later, I left. I went back to her. I was like, hey, I think I'm going to start up a marketing agency. She was like, you should totally do that. I'll be your first client. Awesome. I know.
Yeah.
In my corner since day one. She's still a client. Since then, she's gone from 2 stores to 4. She actually sold 3 of those 4 stores. So now she's just back to 1. And Pet Engine Marketing sort of sprung up around that story and learned a lot from just working with her in terms of finding out, like, beyond just like the upcoming through her business, but figuring out sort of what she needed and what she was missing from a digital marketing strategy from 2018 onward. So we've been partnered since then and experienced a lot of growth together.
I love that story. That's so cool. And I'm thinking, as you're a kid in high school working in pet retail, you're getting that pet retail education. Then you went to college, then you worked for a marketing firm. So you got the education there, and then you did everything for her with that learning and growing and all of that. So it's like you got 3 degrees.
Full circle. I'm certainly, I wouldn't say I'm an expert when it comes to, pet nutrition or things like that, but I certainly have a base level understanding that helps me speak the language a little bit, know my way around some of the brands and products, and
So how long did it take you from that first client to saying, you know what, I'm going to decide to open my own digital marketing company, to having enough clients that you could be full-time in that?
I really just, jumped off the cliff.
Good.
I knew that at the agency, honestly, it was over the summer where I realized, like, I was stuck in this office and it was a beautiful office, right? It's got some floor to ceiling windows.
Mhm.
It's got nice individual offices and like workrooms. But I'm sitting there and it's just gorgeous out Ann Arbor. Like it's sunny, it's 70, 80 degrees. And all I'm thinking about is walking my dog. I'm like, I do not want to be here
Yeah.
stuck in this office when I could
Right.
walk my dog. And so that partly pushed me to want to work more remotely and
Mhm.
kind of like the entrepreneurial lifestyle where I can make my own decisions and work from
Yeah.
anywhere. And I think beyond that, I was also just sort of I was a little bored working at the agency.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I was not creatively flexing those muscles. I felt eventually that I was like unemployable. Like I could not do this kind of work for somebody else. Like I have to do it for myself.
Yeah.
I ended up leaving the agency and then jumped right into starting my own agency. And I think I made like less than $30,000 that first year. So
Yeah. You got to start somewhere. I
it
love
was,
that though. It's scary as heck, right?
yeah, it was not, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I remember thinking like walking out the door that day, I was like, I really did just resign. I don't have a plan. What is going on?
Yep. I've done that once in my life, well, twice in my life too, and it's like scary, but it's also very motivational.
It is. It
And
is.
guess what? You can go walk your dog whenever you want.
I know. I did that quite a bit, right? Like
Right.
it
Yeah.
definitely contributed to part of like the 30 grand the first year, but
Yeah.
those are like times you never get back. So
Yes,
I'm
totally. It's so
grateful
true.
for
I love that. It's so true. So that's really cool. I like that when you took the leap. And a lot of people you'll hear people do, make sure you have this much income and all the things and agreed. But sometimes if you're just so, stuck and looking out the window because I've been there, taking that leap is going to motivate you. You'll find the clients. You will have to hustle a little bit. So, or a lot of it.
Yeah,
So I
totally.
love that you did that. That's so cool. I don't think I knew that part of your story, Matt.
Yeah, maybe not. I
I
mean,
don't think so.
it's super different from like someone that starts a retail store where they have to incur a bunch of costs up front.
Yes.
An early marketing agency is like a glorified name for basically just a freelancer. And I had really
Mhm.
low overhead, which helped out,
Yeah,
but at the same time, it was like, you're only going to bring in what you go get yourself, it's not just gonna come.
exactly.
So
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I did that with PR. I did PR before I started this and, did that for a long time in addition. So, but it's really interesting. I didn't know that you just took the leap. I love that. I know it's really scary and some people might say it's not the smartest thing, but
no, I know. I remember talking to a friend too. Like shortly after that, I was like, I'm starting a business, and he was like, well, he said he like works in finance, and he said something along the lines of like most businesses don't make money their first couple of years. I'm like, well, I have to like
right, you
start
have a
if I
choice.
don't. So I have.
Yeah. Yeah, I always say don't listen to the naysayers. You have to be smart about it and move forward and not just sit around on social media saying that you have a business, right? But there are always going to be those naysayers. And with a financial friend, I'm sure he was thinking of your best interests in heart.
Yeah, I was probably the furthest from like announcing on social media that I ran a business. Like
Yeah,
I think I kept it quiet for almost a year, and
yeah,
it was just like sitting there grinding.
yeah, of course. You didn't have
Watch-
time to do all that social.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love it. I love it. Okay, so you started doing that back in, was that 2017, you said?
Like 18.
18. Okay.
Yeah, I started up officially.
And
So
you primarily work with pet retail. I know you do a lot of other businesses as well, but that's where you started. What would you say the struggle has always been? Like the number one struggle that you see with pet retail store owners when it comes to having to market their own pet businesses? And I know you and I could talk about this for a couple hours, but like just your experience.
I would say my experience with this is that a lot of pet store owners are owner operators, so
Hmm.
they are wearing a lot of hats, if not every single hat, right? So finding time in the day to schedule social posts or even like post on the spot, it's just not something that really um, they don't make a ton of time for, and they don't necessarily think about it first, right? Like when you've got
Yeah.
a customer in the store, that's your customer,
Yeah.
and they're thinking, hey, I've got to help this customer find the right product for their pet if they don't know what they need right now.
Yeah.
If they don't have the staff that's going to take that over, if they don't have people in position to handle some of these tasks that are necessary to either help the business run or help the business grow, then they just get stretched thin and they end up doing everything themselves. And that's a problem that I have, right? Like running my own business, it's very difficult to trust others to do these things with your business, right? This is your baby that you've been building, and kind of let go of the reins a little bit. But certainly I feel like a lot of the marketing tasks that we handle for pet retailers and other pet businesses are some of those things that they're not highest priority, right? Like how can you justify as a pet store operator, owner, whatever, that you have to spend an hour getting social posts, scheduled, your Astro offers enrolled, and then your emails scheduled, and
it's a lot.
When there's no products on the shelves or there's a pallet that has to be unloaded, I get it, 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I sympathize as well, but I'm also like, you should be doing this, why aren't you doing that? Yeah, and I get it, but it's true, if you don't have that staff or the trusted staff or the staff that stays with your retail store, I know that's a tough thing. But that's interesting. So even if they did have the time, let's just, hypothesize or whatever, that they have the time to do it. What would you say that if you see somebody doing their own marketing that they're, not necessarily doing, or some of the mistakes that they do?
Lack of consistency is probably one thing, right? Like, I think it's really easy for not just pet store owners, but all sorts of business owners to try something one time or not give something enough budget or not enough time and say, I tried that 3 years ago and it didn't work. Did you try that with either enough budget? Did you give it enough time? Did you give it enough expertise? Like, did you really try it? So that's part of it. And then, the other thing is like, okay, I put out a social post this week. I sent an email last month. I did the marketing. Why isn't it working? Well, it's a broken record, right? Like, you have to press this button, this launch button again and again and again. You have to publish, you have to publish, you have to publish, you got to distribute, you got to distribute, you got to redistribute. So I would say just not really putting out that messaging as frequently and as consistently as you have to today.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that is why, and, I think somebody like you offering the services that you do for pet retail stores it can be a really big game changer with pet businesses that don't have that, because I feel like, as an entrepreneur, we all like to do a lot of the things and not give up control, like you said, and that's really hard for a retail store owner. And if they're not doing that or passing it off or hiring somebody, like you said, that consistency definitely suffers. So in that, what services did you offer when you first started out, and what services do you offer now?
Oh man, we actually offer pretty much the same, very similar service, like in deliverables. Just I would say we've gotten much better at it and a little bit more refined and quicker, and we've got a better idea of different segments within the audience, right? Like even within pet parents, pet parents is too broad, right? Even within dog owners, there's a variety of different dog owner avatars you can target. And among all of our stores, they've got like different kinds of ideal clients and different types of regular clients. So I started working for this first pet retailer that I worked with when I was a teenager. Started working for her as an agency, providing like SEO content, so blog articles that were informational and educational. And some of those that were published, like even in 2019, 2020, are still doing really well and driving a lot of traffic today. Email marketing. So they had not even really been doing any sort of list building. They had some stuff in their point of sale system. They had some stuff in Astro. None of it was centralized. None of it was getting like put into one place and then marked towards Google Business Management. Like even one of their managers messaged me the other day saying, hey, are we utilizing Google Business Profiles? Like, this is something we've been working on for like 4 or 5 years with you guys. Website design and maintenance, social media management, general reporting, which has improved quite a bit. Like, we used to just use an Excel sheet that took a ton of time, and now we have software on our side that allows for a lot of transparency and less manual data entry and a lot of time saving. So between that and then I would say just organization when it comes to consulting and building out a strategy with the client. So knowing a little bit more about like the ups and downs of each client's business, the general trends of the pet industry and retail as a whole, and being able to help them navigate on a 3 to 6 to 12 month sort of calendar it's helped quite a bit when it comes to building the relationship and creating, just kind of creating a plan that you can work towards together and
Yeah.
like work on moving forward. You're not
That's
just throwing stuff at the wall. So
Yeah, I like that you have the umbrella of all the marketing, because this way it all ties together and people don't realize that, when they're looking at it individually, like social media, email marketing, it all ties together. So the
totally.
fact that you can offer that really helps. When you're working and you have the background of knowing, let me ask you this, as somebody who did PR for 14 plus years in the pet industry, a lot of times I would get a client that wouldn't tell me their full story, like the piece that is going to be like that's going to stand out in your marketing or that's going to stand out for the media. They're going to be like, "Oh my god, that's so cool." Do you find that the same way, that sometimes you're like, "What? I didn't know that this was part of your business," or do you have a very thorough process? Because sometimes I feel like I used to have to pull it out of them.
It really depends.
Okay.
I think it depends a lot on the particular person running the
Yeah.
business. Some people are just a lot more forthcoming about the motivations or the origins of their business. And
Yeah.
other people, I work with some clients that like they run a pet retailer because it's a profitable business, and that's the reason that they do it, and that's
Yeah.
okay, right? Like I'm not
Yeah, of course.
on that. And then there are tons of pet store owners out there that have a pet store because they had that one pet and they learned about what was in this particular food that they'd been
Right.
feeding them, and they're like, whoa, we cannot possibly be doing that. There are so
Yeah,
many
yeah.
eating the wrong stuff. I need to be the one that's educating, and they've become
Mhm.
like this bastion of authority and credibility and expertise on pet food and nutrition. And now people come to them for advice, and so that's a really cool arc and really cool story. So
Yeah. I love those stories. But that's the thing, I noticed that a lot in the pet industry, and I'm like, "No, you gotta tell your story because you're gonna relate to your customers, right? That's gonna be a really quick, easy way to relate." That's cool. But it is true, it does definitely depend on the person. But I was just curious as a marketing person to PR, 'cause sometimes I'm like, "You gotta give me all the info."
yeah, sometimes it is like that.
Yeah,
There are different kinds of owners, right? There are some that want to be that owner operator, some that want to be that like face of their business, and then there are others that certainly don't.
mhm.
They want to be the business owner. They want to be the one that runs it and have other people manage the day to day, manage the
Yeah,
numbers. So
it's
different strokes,
interesting.
right?
Very interesting. So I appreciate that. Um, okay, so for you as a business owner, what is the most important thing to you as a business owner?
Margins, time management, something between those two, I
Mhm.
would say.
Okay.
I have so many crutches when it comes to like managing my time and my schedule, um, between juggling like three different calendars and then
Mhm.
my own personal life. Like I honestly like I don't know what I'm doing this coming weekend, and I wouldn't know if it weren't for my girlfriend who's like, what we're doing this coming weekend. Like we're going to the football game. Like this. We bought these
Right.
tickets.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
we bought those tickets last week. I should know that. No, but truly, I have so many different like systems that keep me organized
Mhm.
and keep me on track, whether it's a calendar or some form of time management or time tracking, and then certainly a to-do list and project management software and
Yeah.
templates and workflows just from doing kind of repeatable projects and tasks.
Yeah. Mhm.
Certainly has helped when you have been doing it for a little
A
while.
long time. Yeah, you become a well-oiled machine at the tasks that you're doing. But those platforms, and listen, I have calendars, digital and paper.
Yeah,
So I get it. You have to have both because writing it down, just there's something cathartic about crossing that off, right?
I get
Okay. So when you are working with a client, what is the most rewarding thing to you, where somebody that is struggling with their marketing, and then say 6 months from now, like what do you see? Like what is the most rewarding thing that you like to see as helping them?
positive feedback. I think is like a almost like a metric or a key performance indicator of my business's
Mhm.
performance, right? Like whether it's an email or something in a call, um, it's always great to get some
Yeah.
positive feedback. And sometimes it comes that way, or like looks that way from different, comes in a variety of forms, I should say. So it might be like, hey, I'm so glad we finally got this thing done. I've been trying to do that for months and couldn't have done it without you, right? Or it's like, wow, we had our best month ever. That would be, you know, we in marketing, we certainly take a little bit of credit for that. We're not going to take every single bit of credit, but record-breaking years, record-breaking months, I think is really awesome.
Yeah. Didn't you have a client have record-breaking year? Was it this year or last year?
We had a few actually.
Yeah.
So I think this year we've had 6 clients break into 6-figure months, which is
that's awesome.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think 2 of them are new to that, so it was the first time having a 6-figure month, which is super, super exciting for them.
Yeah.
Always really gratifying, right?
Yeah.
Like, their success is, you know, we're a performance-based expense. You know what I mean? If we don't perform, if we don't drive results, if we don't live up to our end of the bargain, like we're the first thing that gets chopped when times are tough. You know, that's marketing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it's really the right decision. But you have to perform, right? It's a dog eat dog world, to use an appropriate pun.
We love the pet puns here.
Yeah, definitely can't get away from them.
Oh, that's really good though. That's exciting for your clients. Congratulations to them. It's always, I feel that way too. Anybody I work with, when I see their success, I get really excited about it. Even if I was a small part in that, it makes me happy. Because you see people when they're struggling, you see people when they're like, sometimes they're ready to give up, and you're like, no, don't give up. Here's some ideas. Here's somebody you should meet. Here's some of the things that you could do. This is how we can help you. And, you know, 6 months, a year later, their life may have changed just because of that, right? We all get into those. I always say entrepreneurship's a roller coaster, you know, so got to be prepared for that.
It totally is. It totally is. And yeah, unfortunately, what was the stat? Like 9 out of 10 businesses don't last past the first year or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess if I had a piece of advice for early entrepreneurs, I would say keep going. Like if it's really important to you, fight through those downs, because they don't last forever, and you get better at it, right? You get better at managing it. You get better at getting through them. You get better at turning it around. So.
Yeah, and those hurdles become smaller and easier to step over instead of climbing up over. Every time you have something that comes your way, it's definitely true. So let me ask you this. I know that we were talking before back in like 2019 at a pet industry conference, and you were speaking there, I was speaking there. So when it comes to educating pet business owners, I know you've helped a lot of people as being a speaker over the last few years. How has that helped your business, you know, just for your business?
It's been awesome. I didn't really anticipate getting into speaking, but my first visit to Global Pet Expo was in, I think, 2018. This was very early into the life of my agency, and I sort of went as just like a fact-finding mission. I was going to learn a lot, and didn't have a booth. I showed up as a guest of that one client. You know, I was there as whiskers, and so I was technically a buyer, and you get so much free stuff as a buyer that you don't get as a vendor. It's crazy. That first year for that reason. But no, I went to the educational settings there. I met some really important connections that have continued to become good friends and good connections to have in the industry, and have learned a ton from them. But primarily I saw how, like, in particular, my friend Lynn, who was speaking on... Yeah, I think you probably know Lynn.
Yeah, Lynn is awesome.
Yeah, she was awesome, and she's a good friend of mine now. But I met her at Global that year. I came up to her after one of her presentations, and I was like blown away, because she had just imparted all of this knowledge to all of these retailers that I wanted to be my clients, and they were all talking to her afterward, and I was sure that they were signing up with her to be her clients, and why not? She seemed like an expert, and I was like, I need to get on that stage. It didn't happen right away. It took 3 years to get there, but sharpened some of my presentation skills at like a local marketing networking group, and yeah, no, I think it's been helpful, right? So like I every single person that I come into contact with at a trade show. So they go into a nice little CRM. Hopefully, I can remember some of the nice details that we spoke about or we had a conversation about. And no, it's definitely helped my business, and it's also helped me as like a person, being able to do something like this, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that I would have had the confidence or the ability to do something like this when the business started. So
That's awesome. I think speaking is not for the faint of heart because I've helped a lot of people over the years, and I'm like, well, you just need to be prepared. I said I usually prepare like 6 to 9 months out. Like once I know my topics, I'm like rehearsing for 6 months. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, otherwise you're a nervous wreck, and then you let your anxiety kick in, and you won't do as good of a job. So yeah, that's awesome. I love to see that you're continuing with that and keep going, like you were giving that advice.
And that's one of the most gratifying things too, right? Like speaking to people after those presentations and like, hey, loved your presentation. That was a really great idea. I'm definitely going to send you an email afterward. I'm really looking forward to looking through these slides again. I took up 2 pages of notes. Thank you so much. And like getting that feedback is really cool too. So.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. It's fun. It is a lot of work, but that's cool. That's awesome.
It is quite a bit of work, actually.
Yeah, yeah. But if you're watching and you're thinking about speaking, I always encourage people to try it because,
go for it.
Yeah, some people, might be scared of it. But like you just said, you might not have had the confidence to do this. So it definitely helps in, I think, a lot of aspects of your life and your business, being a speaker. So,
Totally.
yeah, definitely. So
circuit needs new speakers too, not new ones, but
more.
Fresh voices are always good.
Yeah, last year at Global, I was encouraging a couple of people I know. I'm like, you need to apply. I'm like, go speak. I said, just, do it. I'm like, you have so much blah, blah, blah. I'm always telling people that. So yeah,
sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, even, like successful business owners that might, like, you don't necessarily have to be a service provider or a helper, right? If you run a very successful retail shop with a square footage of 1,500, or if you run a really successful mobile grooming business, you have things to share that other business owners want to learn and they want to know how you did it. So I would say make the leap.
Yeah, do it. Speak. All right. So let me ask you this. What is the best piece of advice you have ever received in your career?
With a question like that, normally I would really like fixate on it and try and think and get to like the best possible answer. But the answer that's coming to me right now is still a good one. And I would say build your business sort of by design, right? So like have a goal in mind and make sure that it's the business that you want to run and it's the business that you want to be in, and actually another quote that sort of ties into this is probably not originated from my mom, but certainly heard it first from my mom. But like, if you are happy with your work, then you're not gonna dread going to work on a Monday, or life's too short to dread going to work on a Monday. And business ownership is not always like, it's not always peachy and roses and tons of fun, right? Like it's a grind and there's ups and downs. But I do think that like if you can strategically set some goals and build your business in the way that you want it to be in 3 or 5 or 10 years and have this vision and you're steadily moving towards that vision, then I think you're going to get there. It might take you longer than you expect, but also might take you shorter than you expect. But
I love that. Great advice. Tell your mom we say thank you.
Tell her every day.
So, okay, we're gonna start wrapping up, but I just wanted to know what else is new at Pet Engine Marketing? What do you have coming up?
Definitely have some exciting stuff in the works. We are probably a week or 2 away from hiring a new account manager that I think is going to be an incredible asset to the business.
Awesome.
He or she is going to come with a wealth of experience working with small to medium-sized businesses with a and kind of a background in digital, both in a local and global level. So really just down to just a few candidates left, and they're all like really, really sharp. So I'm really excited about that. We also have this new SEO software tool coming out that is going to boost local listings for retailers and The cool thing about that is it's relatively low priced, so it's a nice little opening offer for businesses that don't necessarily want to jump straight into the deep end with a full service offer.
Right. That's
And
cool.
last but not least, I've been working on this sort of side project with Yolanta from Pet Pro Media, which is almost like
Yolanda.
a little matchmaking service for pet business owners to find
Mhm.
the right kind of pet service providers, whether that's a marketer or a coach or a CPA or like an inventory manager or anything
Okay.
like that. So keep an eye out for the Pet Industry Network coming pretty soon.
Cool. Awesome. Well, Matt, listen, I am so happy that you were on today and all the cool things that you have going
Yeah,
on.
thanks for having me.
And it was so much fun listening to your story. And we'll put all of the links to you. So if you guys are watching, please connect with Matt. He's a great guy and he knows what he's doing when it comes to the pet industry and marketing. And Matt, I thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Tuesday.
It's always good to catch up, and it's a pleasure.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. Good to see you.